Congratulations on winning a keenly contested election, Ethiopia East, and most interestingly, you being the Deputy Speaker, Delta State House of Assembly.
Thank you so much.
So far, evolutionarily, how has it been in Delta State?
We, like you may well know, we were inaugurated on the 13th of June, and since then we have started working, started learning the ropes, and started practicing what we tend to actually do. So far it is challenging and it's very encouraging as well.
Some people felt that this particular election was maybe the first time opposition gave a showing at the state level. How will you describe, regardless of what happened in the presidential election, where people saw something different, but you came back resilient in the state and House of Assembly election? What went into making that happen?
Our youth, for those of us who are youth, because I still consider myself as a youth, we had enthusiasm that we never had before in this last election, 2023 precisely. So people wanted change. People are tired of recycling same set of people as leaders. And when the wind of obedience came, the obedient wind, which is associated with Labour Party, yes, the younger ones, our very, very young generation wanted a drastic change, what we call drastic change. So they went all out to ensure that Labour Party wins the election. And we're not related to them. Some of us, the older politicians, are not relating to them very well. So they don't even know what the challenges we have and what we are doing. So, but for those of us who actually know, who saw it coming, we are not taken by surprise at all. But they are just driven by that passion to ensure that Obi becomes their president. So they focus on Obi, not the rest of the election. And when we saw that wind, almost blew our state away at the presidential level, surprisingly, because Delta has always been PDP, like you know. But that presidential election was a different signal. We only went into the trenches more and more. We went into the campaign more deeper. We tried to explain to them, and we tried to get them to buy in. But before the presidential election, there's this common saying in the public places and open spaces that, look, we are not interested in your governorship, assembly, what have you, senate or rep. We want Obi to become president. So, and actually a lot of them came to us and said, Oga, my friend, my brother, we are done with presidential, we are going to work with you. And so that means they know they had the target. The target was the presidential. But two, we didn't relax at all. We also took the advantage of those 2 weeks to hit our campaign's message very well, driving it to them, and that's what led to the victory.
So arising from that wind of change, which has kind of elicited a different mindset among the political class, how has that affected disposition to governance? Were there any lessons learned?
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of those who believe that politics should be played according to the rules. I'm one of those who pride myself as a Democrat, because I was a student union leader in the University of Benin. Even as far as to the Nigerian Law School Abuja, I was the SROC president when I was there. So all along I've played politics in the university, which we call the microcosm of the larger society. And what we do is to canvass for vote. Talk to your fellow students, let them understand what you intend to do, how you are going to do it, and they vote for you. Money, financials, inducement is not involved at all, because you can't even eat 3 square meals. So why are you going to get money to induce anybody? So it's just talking to them. So I came from that background, and that's the kind of politics I've been doing. Because why do I say it is the best? Because when you know that the people back home, the voters actually voted for you, there's this obligation that you hold to them, the obligation to perform, the obligation not to let them down. You have to be responsible to them because they voted for you. But if you think that with your money you can buy votes here and there, hijack material here and there, then you don't have any recourse to the people. So for us, we have been praying for this kind of settings to come to play. It has come to play. Now you need every man, you need every woman, you need every boy, you need every girl, you need a truck pusher, you need, just like you need even a madman that is able to have a voter's card. So that's brought a lot of sanity to the system. Now you know that if you win election, you have to give back to the people. You have to be responsive to the people. You have every duty to explain to them what your chances and what your limitations are in that office. So they can follow you up till maybe another election. If not, you'll just be good for a one term. So it is good that we are now being elected by our people, so we have to be responsive to them, because that's the only way you can be responsive to them. If you know that your being to power is through them, you have to be responsive. You have to do everything to ensure that you carry them along. So to me, I'm happy that that has come to play, because recruitment of leadership is very, very important in leadership position that you hold. How are you going to treat the people? How are you going to talk to them? How are you going to drive your message home? How are you going to implement your manifesto, which you use in campaign? Those are very key factors. So I'm happy as a person that now politics is becoming sanitized. The only areas where we have issues, where as we speak to the people, there's palpable tension in the country because people are in tribunal, is because we are yet to perfect our electoral systems. We believe that it should be perfected. INEC should do their job properly. Somebody who is running an election should be scrutinized, his certificates, whatever, so that even before you put up the candidate, you know that all these areas have been settled, that just as it's done abroad. But gradually we are getting there. In 1999, 2003, 2007, you know how elections went. But when President Goodluck Jonathan brought card reader in 2015, it changed the system. Now we have beavers, which has come to improve on card reader. So definitely we'll get it. We're getting there gradually, even though if it's taking time, but we'll get there gradually, where we can see our people on the road and stop and be able to address their plight, where they can also see us and talk to us, because those days you might not even know the electorates, but these days you must know them. You have to go to the communities, no matter how deep it is. So that's actually brought some refinement to the system, and it's gladdening to those of us who believe that it is the power of conviction that you need, not the power of money, not the power of pocket.
Election season, let's say it is almost behind now, and you've settled down to leadership and governance. You are not just a representative of Eto East, you are more of a state officer now, representing the people. What are some of the challenges of, this should be the 7th House of Assembly, I guess?
8th Assembly.
8th Assembly, yes. What are some of the likely objectives? What are the likely roadmap you have in mind to make a difference? Considering first, you are a lawyer who understands the art of laws and its imputing.
Okay, the 7th Assembly, before this 8th Assembly had a legislative agenda for the 4 years spanning 2019 to 2023. We're also building a legislative agenda as we speak, and I'm sure by when we become 100 days in office, we're yet 90. On the 13th of this month will be 90 days, because we inaugurated 13th June. So I'm sure in less than 100 days in office, we'll unveil the legislative agenda for the 8th Assembly. The 8th Assembly, that legislative agenda will guide what we'll do from now to 2027. The Speaker is the head of the House. I'm deputy, and I want to give him that respect I want to give him that regard as far as his office is concerned to unveil the agenda to the public. It's not within my purview, but I know we have developed a legislative agenda that will be unveiled to the public very, very soon. And we'll key to that. Well, the 7th Assembly, I wasn't a member, but I know from history that they were the only assembly, Delta State Assembly and Lagos State Assembly that had a legislative agenda for the last 4 years, for the last assembly, which is in our case 7th Assembly. Delta and Lagos had legislative agenda, which they follow through. This time we're also going to repeat it, and I'm sure that my boss, the Speaker, will unveil that to the public in very in the course of things as we go along. Give synergy, and today we're happy. We're glad that the governor was a product of the House. In fact, he is happier when you address him as Right Honorable than the appendages of His Excellency, because he sees himself as one of us in the House. So we're going to have it better and smoother. But it has been smooth, and while we're outside, we'll hear them pride themselves. The House of Assembly as one of the best House of Assembly, one of the most dynamic House of Assembly, one of the vibrant House of Assembly in Nigeria. We don't know why. It goes beyond speaking and shouting in the House. What makes you vibrant is different from what makes the ordinary man in the street think you are vibrant. The House is actually one of the vibrant House, because even as barely 3 months as member, we have undergone training twice within this period, and I was even told again by Mr. Speaker just yesterday that we are going on that training. To do trainings are what makes impact. They are impactful on your performance. So the House has no much challenge, and naturally there are always challenges here and there, but the House has come through some refinement over the years, and I think we're at our best. So debtors should expect so much from us, because our governor has promised more agenda, and we're keen into that to ensure that debtors get more of everything.
Speaking of more agenda, and your oration, you did mention harmonious relationship with the executive, that's the governor, despite being one of you. Oftentimes, people try to describe the legislative house as more of we hear rubber stamp and a lot of most of those. Considering the fact that the Speaker is from your constituency, and we're looking forward to harmonious relationship with the government, where do you see the representatives of the people standing by the people as when it is expedient?
Yeah, rubber stamp was in a tag given to the Senate of the Nigerian Senate, the last assembly, and not Delta. Synergy does not entirely mean rubber stamp. Synergy means understanding what the other person wants, and you match it with what you want and agree. Either the middle or somehow shift to the other side. But the truth of the matter is that the concept of separation of power, as propounded by Montesquieu, is different in practice. In practice, you cannot be distinct. There are several areas where you cannot be distinct. Even the Constitution says, for example, the governor needs to appoint categories, do some category of appointment. Yes. He has to send those names to the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly will have to screen and confirm for the governor to be able to swear in. Even the proclamation that makes us to be inaugurated came from the governor. So there are a lot of areas where you cannot be on your own. Assuming you want to be on your own, according to people say, it's not possible in governance. In governance, there must be a meeting point. There must be a consensus added them at a point. So the further we are offering our cooperation to the executive arm headed by the governor, it doesn't mean that we are sacrificing our responsibility or abdicating our responsibility or we are trying to shy away from our responsibility. No. The only thing is that rather than keep the governor for 10 days over what you can do in 24 hours, you do it. so you can have the time to implement, because you can as well strangulate the executive if you decide to be uncooperative. But in this case, we want to be very cooperative. You want something, we'll look at it within the limit of the law is doable, we'll say go ahead and do it. That's what we want to do. We don't want to strangulate governance. We don't want to be at loggerheads with the executive for any reason, except when it is not doable. Then we'll say, okay, why don't we do it this way? So we are offering our cooperation, and the governor has also offered us his cooperation. So there's no need for us to have friction where there is none. Like I say, we are keen into his more agenda. How will he do more when we are slowing him down? Won't slow him down. For so far, we have had reasons to do one or two things within this short period. Now we have to do them as quickly as possible because we want him to succeed. If he succeeds, we succeed. His success is our success. If you go to the street and say, people say the governor is doing very well, we'll be happy because he's our governor and we are going to face election. So if he doesn't do well, it's going to affect us. So we want him to do well. So we want to encourage him. I will support him to do well.
Before I come to Ethiopia East, what, in your understanding, in your expectation, is for a layman like us, is intertwined or innate in the more agenda for Deltas?
Yeah, the more means it's an acronym of meaningful development, realistic opportunity. You know what it stands for. Now, practically, I know what Delta wants. And I think you also know, but maybe I can tell you I know because I was in the executive for 4 years, for the last tenure of His Excellency. I've been in the party, so I know that practically every Delta wants to supply a good road. I know that every Delta wants an opportunity to be employed, to be engaged in one trade or the other. And that's what our immediate boss, His Excellency Dr. Ifeanyi Togowa, did. A lot of people don't know why he keeps winning CBN award. He was winning CBN award because he had different policies and programs that took people out of unemployment. Some of them are doing very well. They have become employment of labor and all that. So we know what Deltas want. We know that the governor understands the state very well. Like he always prides himself as a man with street credibility. He is one of us. He lives among us. He lives in the village with his people. So we know what Deltas want. We are going to ensure that they get what they want by the grace of God. Everybody wants employment. Everybody wants to apply good rules. People want to see street lights so they can walk at night without fear. So we know this. We want to see that our economy is improved upon, and we are working towards how we can realize more monies from our IGRO in the state rather than waiting for Abuja. All these are areas where we'll be able to bring in, get our funds to be able to do the needful that we intend to do, that the governor intends to do as the head of the administration. So we'll just let us expect more. For example, within the 100 days now, which he is celebrating today, he has done so much to improve on the plight of the civil servants in the state. You are aware of that. He has paid billions of nairas to them, which are accrued areas that were not paid before he came on board. So there are so much to do. Tomorrow there will be commissioning of projects to mark the 100 days. So Deltas will get a good deal from His Excellency Right Honorable Sheriff of Boriwe.
Ethiopia East is known for, some describe it as a home of opposition, and it is interesting to see you break that jinx and make it happen. What went into that making happen, and on the flip side, what should Ethiopia Eastern be looking forward and up to from here?
They should be looking forward to robust legislation. I made a promise while I was campaigning that I will continue to live with them. So it's not surprising to anybody that knows me that I come every Monday morning from my community from my constituency. I'll return back on Friday after sitting on Thursday. I promised I was going to live with them so that I can understand, I can get their feeling, just as I've always done. 2, I promised I will be briefing them. I will be having a town hall meeting with them from time to time, where we will generate ideas of what they want and bring it to be in our budget. So we'll give them what they want, not what we think they want. I've promised to be available. So as I speak to you, I will unveil my office on the 13th of this month at Sokolo, my liaison office, where they can have access to me or my admin staff in case I'm not there. So Ethiopia should be looking up to a robust legislation, and God helping us, what we have always done, every year we find ourselves, we will also leave record as a member of House of Assembly. I left physical records as state youth leader, even though I was in the party, as commissioner, even as special advisor. There has never been any time that I find myself in public office without demonstrating capacity. So I'm going to, they should expect robust legislation, enhanced capacity this time, better than it has always been. And to the elections, Ethiopia is PDP is very strong in Ethiopia. Unfortunately, we had some people who wanted it their way all the time. They always want it to be the way they want it. If it's not so, they will do anti-party. It's all called anti-party. If not, by 2015, we will have won both the governorship and House of Assembly because we were strong. But some persons just believe that if they are not the candidates, then they should not work for the candidate. We do anti-party, work for another party, another. Yes, Great Okboro of Great Okboro, our elder brother is strong. He's from the local government. So to that extent, he is able to galvanize more vote for his party than us. But over time, what has actually happened is that we sell out ourselves among ourselves. We later realize that we can't go anywhere with this trend. Thank God willing, by 2023, God gave us the opportunity to come together. So it's a collective victory. We won the governorship election, as was the election. We won in Abraka Ward 1, Ward 2, and Ward 3. It has never happened before because we're able to come together. We're able to agree to work and deliver one of our own. And that's what gave me victory in 9 wards over 11 in this last election. And that synergy that we have built will continue. And I can tell you, without sounding any models, that 2027, Ethiopians will pull the best result in the state. Because those who used to be the worm in our cola, inside the cola, they have left. You can see how they perform very woefully in the party they went to. They lost their awards and all that. So they have left us, and we will bid them bye-bye so that we can continue to enjoy this newfound love among us as party people and this victory that we're enjoying today. We walk now with our shoulders very high, being counted among the winners. For a long time, people like us who are losing Asaba, we find it difficult to even express ourselves because at the end we say, "Oh, no, but this time we have won, and God willing, will keep our fangs close to win more. By making our people happy. They're already happy. The fact is that they are happy, at least that they have one of the best hands, one of the persons they wish to represent them is representing them today, and they're happy. And I can tell you that with the smiles on their faces and with what we tend to bring on board, we will always be counted as a winning local government in this state by the grace of God.
On a lighter note, having gone through the crucibles of unionism, student union, so politics is not strange to you. And having equalism, being a youth leader in the PDP, you're still a youth regardless.
Yes.
What comes to your mind when you think politics, and how has it been easier for you to simplify your life?
Politics to me is service. The other word for politics is you aspire to serve your people. So to me, the word service is attributed to politics for me. I've always served my people, even as a very young boy in the village. because I grew up in Eku, I schooled in Eku, primary, secondary school, you know, so politics to me is service. And if I find myself doing nothing, I'm not happy. So I like to serve. I like to go to the Elders Council, stay by the window and hear how they dispense justice. And each time I see oppression, I tell myself, you must go and read law. So if one of the reasons why I read law is to be able to stand up against oppression and injustice. So politics to me is service. I've always loved to serve. I've always served, whether payment or no payment. I've served as my community president general. That's to tell you I like service. In such offices, I knew how much I put in. You are not going to get anything. So politics to me is service. In the university, at the Nigerian Law School, it gives me joy for me to carry a handbook in the Nigerian Law School and give to the students and share to the students, and they just call me Presido. That's all I just enjoy. So I like service, actually, and whatever comes with service, yes, you will take. My advice is that people of our generation should be patient. Sometimes we are not patient. If you know my journey to the House of Assembly, you know I was patient. If I wasn't patient, maybe by today I will have been blown away with the quest or inordinate ambition for power. His Excellency the Governor said something on the 6th of August, sorry, this is September. On the 6th of August, when I did my Thanksgiving at Eku, in the open church, he said, Akpowowo is a party man. That what happened to him in 2018, everybody thought he would leave the party. But he didn't leave. He's in the public space when he said so. And I was even more encouraged. I was encouraged more to be patient and to take my time, because time and chance happen to them all. And so our generation are in a hurry. They come into the game. In 5 years, they've not reached their target. They go away. No, you have to be there. There's period of mentorship. We were mentored by a lot of people. I've passed through a lot of leaders in the course of my political journey. And today I can sit down and mentor any young man who wants to be mentored, because I know how Chief Mike Adotobe, my leader, used to do things. I know how he reacts to things. I know how PDO Akpowowo, when we were sampling those days, used to react to things. So I bring all these experiences together to make myself a better person, and I'm ready to mentor. But they should be patient. Patient is key.
Yes, translates to growth, development for Deltans. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this interview today. God bless you.